So we'll just jump in and start talking about Andy's book. I think it's a subject that probably all of us have some. Johan Cruyff is something all of us kind of know a wee bit about. So Andy, can you tell us how the idea came to you and how you sort of went about writing it?
Well, it's been a slow burner, even though it was quite quickly written, I suppose. But it was a slow burner for years. Since I was a wee kid, I've been obsessed with the 1974 World Cup, and he was like my hero. He was just football hero, really nuts for him. And as the years went by, I knew all these things. Now we're all kind of a football people, so now you know these daft things grown men shouldn't really know. You know all these daft facts. And any time I said to people, "Oh, did you know Cruyff got ripped off? He lost about $6 million, and that's why I had to come out of retirement." They just look at you as if you're making it up, right? Because I like to make things up to wind people up. And we get to the point that all these daft things happened, and the famous one was that I kept saying, "Do you know he went to the equivalent to, it was like Messi leaving Barcelona to go and play for Real Madrid." That's what I always say to people. And he played for Feyenoord. They left Ajax to go to Feyenoord. This is Mr. Ajax, and he's going to Feyenoord. So that was, and I had all these ideas, all these daft things that I knew had happened in his life. There's so many. The Ajax team had a meeting, and they get so fed up shouting at them that they backstabbed them and they get rid of him, and they ended up going to Barcelona about a week later. I knew all these stories, but this one season always intrigued me, and it was a kind of a writery, sort of, I keep saying it was a writery thing where I anchored the story in this one season.
Na een imposante carrière die zo'n 20 jaar geleden begon in Groningen tegen GVAV, neemt Cruyff via Ajax, Barcelona, Los Angeles Aztecs, Washington Diplomats, Levante, weer Ajax en nu een jaar Feyenoord. Afscheid van de voetbalvelden.
What year was that, Andy? He played with Feyenoord?
He played in Feyenoord 1983 to 84. That was his last season, his very last year of football. But he'd been at Ajax. He quit Barcelona when he was only 31, but he ran out. He got ripped off badly, and then he had to. His agent and his father-in-law, who's called Cor Costa, he got him over to America, and he got about $500,000 a season. He played over there for a few years, and then come back again to Ajax to keep fit, really. And he was out running all the guys in training, and they were like, "Fancy play for us?" Then they had Cor Costa come up with this gate deal thing. So he was, I think it was anything over 10,000. Ajax kept in above that. Cruyff and the club split in two.
Right.
So he was making incredible money. You know, he was every and then it came to renegotiating. They're like, "Oh, you're too fat, you're too slow," and all that. They saw the amount of money he was getting, and Feyenoord offered the same gate deal, so he went to Feyenoord. It's an incredible story, and I think most people they might have maybe heard of it in the last few years. It started to come. I was getting really angry and frustrated because I thought, this is my big story, and there was all these things that were showing up in all the football periodicals, all the different magazines online. Oh. And I think the guy, maybe I shouldn't mention this, but there was a nice guy that I know, he's one of my friends now, who brought a book out about the same thing.
Uh-huh.
But I think his is just about the actual year, all the detail. He's like a encyclopedic guy, amazing. I'm dying to read his.
And why do you think it is that it doesn't seem to be generally known by everybody?
Well, I've got a wee theory. I think it's because how much he did for Ajax and how much he did at Barcelona. It's overshadowed. See, whenever people come to rewrite history, they always think there's that wee bit. He was such an Ajax. He won the league. They won the European Cup 3 times in a row. And he was European Player of the Year between 71 and 73. And it was just an incredible run for them. And him and Rinus Michels, they basically started, total football's been around for about 70 or 80 years, but they started to, in fact longer than that, and they started to sort of evolve their version of it, if you like, and then popularised it at the World Cup. But they came through from about 65. They were just a semi-professional team, Ajax, whenever Rinus Michels came in, and he was coming into the team. He was like started, and they both went in this journey.
5-year-old Johan Cruyff, the man who helped create a new style of football in the early 70s, and at his peak might well have been considered the world's outstanding player. But at his age now, what does he have left in him? Is he over the hill? Will his foot injury handicap him? Can he inspire the youngsters around? Well, 11 Celtic players and some 50,000 supporters will have these questions clearly answered in the next 90 minutes.
And of course, I think I've said to Tom as well before, I actually saw him play.
Mm-hmm.
In 1882, I saw him play for Ajax when he just not long before, maybe months before he would have been, maybe about a year before he went to Feyenoord, and he was incredible. He was about 35 and he was bossing it. And see, once I always say to people, once you saw him play football, it was like mathematical fluidity. You just saw this guy pinging it, and then he started something as a sweeper role or at right back. And then he'd be over on the left wing, cross the ball, and with the right side, his right foot, and put on the people. So it's just incredible. I talk about it in the book quite a lot. That was one of the main sort of chapters in my head. I need to tell everybody I saw him, and it was such an amazing night. And at the end of the game, the Celtic fans applauded Ajax, and it was 2 each, and it was like a 2 each, but they absolutely destroyed Celtic. It was one of the games where it was a 2 each draw, but it was a real going over. And they had Soren Lerby and what's the guy's name again? A winger, a tricky winger. Soren Lerby, Jan Molby, he was there as well. But there's a wee guy, Lawson. He came through and scored an amazing goal as well. He just left foot. He played for Man United, wee guy. Jesper Olsen, thanks. He was incredible as well. But they just totally destroyed Celtic, and then the second leg, Celtic ended up beating them 2-1.
He doesn't get near Olsen. Marvellous crowd here tonight. Like the good old times when Celtic were going very strong indeed in Europe. Well, that's a beautiful move there. And he's done it. Superb goal by Olsen. 1-0. Only 4 minutes gone, and the man I said was the most dangerous player in the team has confirmed that. He did that with great grace and skill, gliding his way through, and Bona had no chance with a punishing shot. Celtic will try to sustain enormous pressure. Robin, there's Buns. Penalty. Penalty kick. The referee pointed so casually to the spot that I began to wonder if I'd made a mistake. Well, there's Cruyff arguing with them, and the Swedish referee is telling him to get away, but Celtic have been awarded a penalty. Buns was going past this man, he was brought down, and the referee casually pointed to the spot. So, Charlie Nicholas, who scored a couple of penalties on Saturday. Here we go, it is so vital. And both Gallier and Nicholas know how vital it is. 1-8. Celtic have stormed back to the great delight of a crowd that is now surely well over 50,000. Hitting balls wide to Nicholas and Frank Mugabe. Neat 1-2, away goes Olsen, look at the pace of him, driving forward. That was highly skilled play. Outside of the foot, fast there, Cruyff, a brilliant ball. Oh, what a goal! Oh, that was a brilliant goal by any standards. I don't think a Celtic player touched the ball in 50, 60 yards. It was swept right across. Beautiful touches on the left. Right into the middle to the captain. He didn't lose his head, and just lofted it past Bona, who looked very stranded indeed. Mugabe's done it. The equaliser. 2-2 in this quite amazing game. Oh, they're getting the money's worth. Well, the ball went right through the middle. 28 minutes of this have gone. And suddenly Mugabe, as he had at the start of the match, found himself uncovered. This time he had the space and the acceleration and the accuracy. And I have seen some games at Parkhead in the European Cup. Believe you me, this will stand up against any of them.
So this little article here talks about the two games you spoke about. So it says in the first half, which saw 4 goals, 2-2 was the score at half time.
It was 20 after 29 minutes. There was 2 goals scored, 4 goals scored. Sorry, yeah, 2 each.
A grinning Cruyff said in the dressing room afterwards, "That was what I wanted. Not only because the result was good for us, but because the supporters stayed to cheer both teams."
They did it, and at the end of the game, he brought Ajax back out again, Cruyff. When they did they applauded everyone, which is very rare.
Yeah,
very rare.
The final whistle is gone on a night I think that will certainly be remembered for a quite astonishing first half. It contained everything that you would expect to see at the highest level of European football. And that man Johan Cruyff there is certainly masterminding some of the greatest combined moves I've seen from a team at Parkhead, being acknowledged by the Celtic support, who obviously recognised that Celtic played their hearts out. A great, determined Celtic team, even though they were twice behind, fighting back.